Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode number 77 of Merritt in the Morning.
And people are still watching.
We don't know that. He is 30-year State Senator Jim Merritt.
He is Mr. Brad Klopfenstein, president of the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce.
Jim, we have an exciting guest. I've always said in my career, I've only taken jobs that would result in a good story. That is always number one, and then everything else is secondary. I think our guest today might trump me on that. But before we get to her.
Well, we like telling stories.
We do like telling stories.
That's podcast.
This might be, I know.
I was really excited to be here.
Me too. I'm extraordinarily excited. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. Allison Melangton is going to be our guest. Jim, we've got sponsors.
We do.
We do. The Honey Baked Ham Company, locations at 96 in Michigan, Greyhound Pass in Carmel. Jim, they are open for lunch, quasi-dinner. I think they're open till 6:30 every day. So you can go in there 2-3 times a day.
And I do.
You could. I know you do. In fact, when they hide the honey mustard when you're coming. They say, "Oh, we're down to just one bottle, Jim. Sorry." So, but you can go in there, lunch, dinner, eat in, take out. They've got sides, drinks. They'll cater for you. Anything you want, they will take care of you. So tell them that Merritt in the Morning sent you. And Jim, we need a sandwich named after you. That is my goal. So people could just come in and order the Jim.
Well, we'll have to talk to the Calbs about that. Great family owns it.
I have a feeling we might be able to make that happen.
That would be lovely.
So that not everybody gets a sandwich named after Jim. You could be the one there.
And what does Stockyards Bank have?
So Stockyards Bank has lots of stuff. We want to thank Stockyards Bank and Trust. I brought the koozie as a prop this week. They have locations all over town. So they are at 71st and Binford, Carmel, Zionsville now, downtown Indianapolis, Plainfield, Greenwood, Center Grove. They're building next at 22nd and Meridian. But Jim, you brought in a prop. They didn't even feed this to us. So if you go to the new Stockyards Bank and Trust at on Michigan Road in Zionsville, 116th, you go in there, open an account. And there's a couple of requirements. You have to have a direct deposit, and I think you have to use your debit card a handful of times.
Yeah.
They will either give you $250 in cash or the fanciest $400 toaster I have ever seen. So
a smart toaster.
It is a smart toaster. This thing better do more than just make toast.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It shows a family walking on the beach, so apparently it comes with a free vacation. Don't hold me to that.
His wife works there, so he can't get out of line here.
No, but it does say you have to take advantage of this offer by July 31st.
Yeah.
So
my dad got that in the mail.
Go to Stockyards and open several accounts. Although it does say you can only get the bonus one per family.
Okay.
So anyhow,
yes.
Allison.
More importantly,
Good morning.
You are like the most interesting person that we've had in our 77 episodes. So we've had some interesting people on.
We have.
So we'll just start. What is it you say you do here?
What do I do here? Well, I work for Penske Entertainment, which is the company that owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the NTT IndyCar Series, and our television production company, IMS Productions. So in that company, I oversee one division of the business. Right now, I've got marketing, communications, our content television division, and our corporate partnership department.
That is a large job.
Yeah.
I mean, there are only there are 7 days in the week, and you travel to the races.
I travel to most.
Yeah, and so the marketing is probably the most interesting because it always changes.
Yes.
And people, when they think of Indianapolis and they're in Europe, Europeans, they think of soccer some, but they think of the Indianapolis 500 when they think of racing. You've probably traveled the world.
Yes.
And how do you approach your day and your week? It must be different every day.
It is different every day, but you know what? It's so much fun to work here. It's fun because the people are great. This iconic institution here in Indianapolis matters a lot. And just like you said, no matter where you go in the world, and in all my jobs that I've had, I wear Indianapolis attire. I specifically remember being in the airport in Tokyo, And someone came up to me, I had an Indy shirt on, and they said Indy 500, and it was before I worked here. And they didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Japanese, but it's something everybody knows. Indy is Indy 500, and that's been fun in all the careers that I've had and all the things that I've done that people know that. So after I worked all these other places, I thought everybody knows Indy 500. I've never worked here. And so when I got the opportunity, that's how I jumped over to 16th Street.
So you were 20 years at the Indiana Sports Corp.
Yes.
President for 2 years.
Yes.
So did the Speedway approach you, or did you decide it was time for a change and this was a cool opportunity?
You know, it sort of all happened at the same time. Mark Miles, I got to know during the Super Bowl. He was the volunteer board chairman of the Super Bowl when I was CEO, and we developed a great relationship. We worked together for 4 years, and when the 100th running of the Indy 500 was coming in 2016, he called me and said, I hate to even ask you this, but would you ever leave the Sports Corp? And at first I said no. I said, I'm so happy here. I love this job. And I thought about it a little bit, and I thought I should at least go have dinner with him and talk to him. And the more he described what they were trying to do with the 100th running and, the challenges that were ahead, and that a lot of those challenges match my skill set, I thought, this really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because I am a Hoosier now and love this city, love this state, and so it just sort of worked out. So back to your question, it was a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, you've worked with some really great people. I've known Mark Miles since the Dan Quayle campaign in 1980, and as well as Mel Raines with the Super Bowl, and Doug Bull's here now, and it's quite obvious that the Penske organization is just chock full of great people that do wonderful things. Let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl and how that. I mean, you must have ordered the 55-degree weather.
Yes,
100%. I mean, that will live. That'll be a great memory for the city of Indianapolis of how everything worked together, and how did that come about that you were kind of the top dog?
So it's a great question. In 2007, when we were bidding on the 11 Super Bowl that we didn't get.
Yeah, Minnesota, I think. Yeah.
That one went to Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
The ice storm.
Right. Yeah, the ice storm.
The snow.
Yeah, Minnesota was 18 that we didn't get. But I was the number 2 person at the Sports Corp at the time. And they pulled me off everything and moved me over to the Baker and Daniels office to help Fred Glass, who was the chairman of that Super Bowl that we didn't get, that we bid on. So I worked on the bid for a year for that. And then when Mayor Ballard got elected, and we said, okay, we're gonna try it again. Mark Miles and Jack Swarbrick were the chairs, and then I again worked for a year on that bid, and we got it. It was interesting because I was working for the Olympics July of that year. I was going to Beijing for a month. And Mark called me like 2 days before I left for Beijing and said, I got a question. Can you come to my office? So he and Jack were in there. And they said, we want to offer you the CEO position for the Super Bowl, but we need to know before you go to Beijing. Because if you don't want to do it, we need that month because you're going to be hard to communicate with over there. If you don't want to do it, we've got to find somebody else. So I said, so I have like 24 hours? And they're like, yeah. So I went home, talked to my husband and my son. My son was a freshman at the time. Had a good conversation about what the next 4 years would look like if I said yes, and agreed as a family that I would do it. So I called him on my way to the airport and then left for a month.
Wow. That must have been quite a dizzy month to think about.
Yeah, it was a lot. I had a lot of work to do at the Olympics. I was working for NBC Sports, but I did spend time just starting to jot down notes and plans. And, when I got back that we were going to kick into gear.
So I have several questions that could go 2 different ways. I don't want to let either avenue go. First, I'll go with, so you're number 2 at the Indiana Sports Corp, but you got a side gig with NBC Sports where you just do Olympic coverage.
Yes.
How does that work?
So that's actually a great question. When I went to the Sports Corp, and I will give Dale Newberger all the credit in the world for this, when I went to Indiana Sports Corporation, I already had a relationship with NBC, and I was traveling to major world events with them, working for the broadcast team. And when I went to the Sports Corp, I said to Dale, it's important to me to keep this, even if it's 1 or 2 events a year. And he said, there's a really interesting answer. He said, of course I'm going to let you do that. You go all over the world, you bring back all this information about what other cities are doing at global events, and then you're going to teach us to be better here because you're getting a free education because NBC pays your expenses everywhere. He said, of course I want you to keep doing that. And then when I came here, Mark Miles said the same thing. In 2016, we had the 100th running, and then I left and went to Brazil for a month. And so Mark felt the same way. If these other global events are doing things, you can help us learn things.
Now, do you have a gymnastics background?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, I have a gymnastics background. I was a gymnast growing up and then through college.
Nice. So how did you get on with NBC Sports?
So I went to work at USA Gymnastics. USA Gymnastics is what the reason I'm a Hoosier.
Okay.
I'm part of the sports strategy here. I was in Colorado, moved here, worked at USA Gymnastics for 11 years, and then I got to know all the NBC folks through that. When I left USA Gymnastics, they said, we don't know that we can do these events without you. You're integral to a part of the coverage. And so in your next job, can you try to make sure that that's okay? And it was fine with Dale Newberger and fine with Mark Miles because they're both, global sports people that see the bigger picture.
They're wise men.
Yeah.
And how long was it to organize the Super Bowl, actual Super Bowl event or events?
4 years.
4 years.
I started when I got back from Beijing, which had been in August of 2008, and then I stayed through August of 12. And that's pretty standard. And people say, how could you possibly take 4 years to organize an event? We needed every minute. There was not a minute wasted, and we worked our tails off. But it was a lot of fun, and it was worth it.
Yeah, and Mel Raines played a large role,
Yes, she did.
and she does a great job with the Pacers now. And it takes good people, a lot of good people, to get an event like that to be so successful. And there were so many different things that came to the fore, other than the game, which was exciting itself. Right. But there were new ideas that came onto the scene. What was the most successful or most popular one?
We had so many, and I loved that from the board level down, starting with Mark, everything was, this is not about what's going to happen on the field for Indianapolis. And we don't want it to be sort of like the circus where it comes in and it leaves and it doesn't leave legacy projects here with lasting impact. And that was the board's attitude from day one. And that's sort of my DNA anyway. So it dovetailed well together. I would say the Near East Side project, working with the Bonner Center and James Taylor was just amazing. Revitalizing a lot of the homes, the businesses, the neighborhood, all of it. Putting the Near East Side Legacy Center there, which is still a fabulous asset there on the Near East Side. So I would say that was the anchor. And then we did a breast cancer project with the Breast Tissue Center here, trying to lift up things in Indianapolis that nobody knows about. We have the only place in the world that women can donate healthy breast tissue for breast cancer research. And we partnered that with the Super Bowl, calling it Super Cure. We got over 2,000 breast tissue donations, and they've made remarkable research advancements because of it. And so to me, that's a legacy project. It's absolutely helping with research, diagnosis, and care for women with breast cancer, and it lifted up an Indianapolis institution that's unique. I would say the Super Scars program, while it doesn't have a lasting legacy, it certainly put a lot of love into the Super Bowl. And it's funny because after the Super Bowl was over, I heard from all these other cities about this meeting you go to at the NFL. You go in and you get this big table in the conference room, and they go through and, say you did a great job on this, but on these things, you guys, it's a feedback session. So Mark and I were going to the NFL. And I got to the airport and he wasn't there. And I got on the plane and he wasn't there. And I'm like, okay. So I called him and I said, hey, are you late? He said, well, Helen's sick. I'm not going to be able to go. And then my first thought was, well, if she's not dying, you should still be with us. You're sending me to the wolves by myself. And he said, no, she's really sick. I'm not comfortable going. You'll be fine. And I thought, that's a great compliment. Okay, I'm going by myself. But it was kind of funny. Anyway, we went to this conference room, it's like, 25 men and me. And they start sort of going down the table. This was good. Tweak this next time if you get another one. Anyway, the third or fourth gentleman his name was Dave. He said, he sort of pushed his chair back and he said, I think we should mix this meeting up. He said, Indianapolis did things that no other city has ever done in a Super Bowl. And I think we should listen to Allison describe how they did that so we can try to infuse it in other cities. And he said, my takeaway is Indianapolis put a heart in the Super Bowl. And that we have not experienced before. So why don't you tell us how you did that?
That's
and I said,
fabulous.
Yeah.
So, did he say anything about the zip line?
Yeah, I mean, all of it. Yeah, I mean, they really loved everything that we did. And I will tell you, not everything was easy with them because we would say, even the zip line, the concentrated village downtown, it took us a while to convince them to do that because their other Super Bowls are so spread out. Think about Miami, think about Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's miles and miles apart. They had not had a Super Bowl other than New Orleans to some extent that concentrated everything in a tight area. So it took us a while to convince them that that was a good idea. And frankly, the way I thought about it was from the Olympics in Salt Lake City in 2002 that had Metals Plaza. Mm-hmm. And so we were sort of trying to replicate that. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
that's really given us
journey.
Our fame in Indianapolis that everything is so centrally located, walkable.
Right.
Yeah.
And Georgia Street was built for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. You know, we got that done for that, and it's been a wonderful asset. If you remember what the street was like before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nobody went down it.
Yeah.
So now, tell me if I'm wrong on this. Indianapolis was the first Super Bowl host city to really do a legacy project, right?
Yeah, they had a program, like a matching program. If cities put in X amount, they would put in X amount. But our program it blew everything out of the water, and we were the first city to actually get it done before the Super Bowl. Most other cities had a plan going into the Super Bowl and completed their projects after. So we were thrilled. We got everything done. I will tell you, Mark Miles, as a volunteer, worked on that Near East Side Legacy project hours. He and James Taylor led that, and they did a great job.
That's great. We got to pause for a second because we have sponsors that we have to acknowledge. Want to thank Stockyards Bank and Trust, location 71st and Binford, downtown Indianapolis, Carmel, Zionsville, Plainfield, Greenwood again. I forget any? Probably not.
They have a lot.
They got a lot. They're everywhere. As we said at the beginning, go to the Zionsville branch between now and July 31st. Open a new account. If you meet the requirements, you got a week. You get either $250 deposited in your account or the fanciest $400 toaster we have ever seen. So check that out. Also want to thank the Honey Baked Ham Company, locations 96 in Michigan, Greyhound Pass in Carmel. Jim, you know they're not just ham.
No.
They got turkey, sides.
Allison, they have this chocolate cake.
Oh, boy.
They
I love
have
chocolate cake.
Sweet potato pie.
Okay.
They have turkey. They have roast beef. They have all sorts of things. And the soups. Russell makes the soups at 96 and 421. It's just a stop on your way home, get dinner, or stop in and have lunch. They have tables there, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Nice dining experience. Mm-hmm. They'll also do catering for you.
They do.
So check them out. So now back to our guest, Allison Melangton. Mm-hmm. So I got to ask, growing up, did you want to or know that you were going to be doing the biggest events in the world and kicking ass at them?
Kicking ass at them.
No, I mean, I always had an interest in sports. I was an athlete myself. And then my dad was a ski jumper. And he was
no kidding.
Where did you grow up?
Maine.
Maine.
I'm a Maine girl, maniac.
You're a Mainer.
All the way, yes. Mm-hmm. My dad was a nationally ranked ski jumper. And so we used to go to his competitions when I was little. And my mom would drag my sister and I. We'd watch my dad jump. And I always watched the people organizing and got more fascinated with them organizing what was going on than actually watching my dad jump. And so, it just always was like a big interest to me. And then when I went to high school, I volunteered in the athletic department to scheduled the gym and stuff like that. So I think I knew early on because my family was so involved in sports, and I realized there was, you could do jobs in sports, that's what I wanted to do.
Gymnastics, the U.S. gymnastics, and the credit, it's a Ross and Babcock Travel client.
Yes.
And my brother took very good care of them.
Yes, he did.
That was that organization was really kind of noteworthy in Indianapolis, and Jim Morris held that organization very, very dear. And he wanted to put all the different organizations together at one time.
Yep.
And that was really kind of the beginning of the, I don't know about the beginning, but it gave a lot of fuel to the amateur capital of the world is what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Amateur athletes capital of the world. And it was probably very interesting just to watch. You kind of had a great view of Indianapolis growing from, a Market Square Arena, or then we have the RCA Dome, and you've had an interesting viewpoint just to see the city grow, and really the fathers of the community grow it and then change, and I mean you've seen a lot.
Yeah, and back to how I moved here, when I was working at the U.S. Olympic Committee, an Indianapolis delegation of leaders came out to pitch the U.S. Olympic Committee leadership on partnering with the Olympic movement to move organizations to Indianapolis and to have more events in Indianapolis. And I was working there low on the totem pole, but helped set up the meeting and everything. And I sat there listening to Sandy Knapp, who was the founder of the Indiana Sports Corp in 1979. So this would have been in 1982 that this presentation
We were just young
happened.
then.
We were young. And so Sandy Knapp, Jim Morris, Ted Boehm were the three that I remember. And they did this wonderful presentation, and then there was a reception. And I remember Sandy Knapp coming up to me. She's super tall, I'm small, and she was just effusive in talking about Indianapolis, and she just came right out and said, what do you do at the USOC? So I told her, and she said, you ought to move to Indianapolis because we got a lot going on there. It's going to be great. If you really want a career in sports, you should move to Indy. And I thought, thought never occurred to me because I've never been in Indiana. I don't know anybody in Indiana. And then I started thinking about it, and a couple of the organization presidents were there. Mike Jackie was there from USA Gymnastics, and I mentioned I had been a gymnast, and she drugged me right over to him and said, "You guys should talk." And 3 months later, here I am moving to Indiana.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing ever. So that's why I feel like I was a product of the sports movement. And they moved 7, I think, national governing body offices through Jim's help leading that, working with the Lilly Endowment. And I think there were 4 of us from Colorado that moved here.
Wow. That was really the start. Bill Hudnut was a big part of that. And Sandy Knapp had a history with the Pacers, and my dad was on the Sports Corp board, and so it was fun to witness that whole. I really feel honored that I was privileged that I was able to be here, during the with Luger, then Hudnut, and just the beginning, and how many different forms our convention center has taken.
Right.
From like one ballroom to what we have now, and when I have those moments where I walk through memory lane, and in that period of all the things that the city has accomplished, in 1985 we were working on the first women's Big Ten basketball tournament, and we worked hard to try to get them to come to Indianapolis. And then, and then the men, and then the football championship. None of that even existed. Yeah.
We were pushing the Big Ten to say you should have a women's basketball tournament. And Jack Swarbrick was the chairman of the Sports Corp at the time, and he was in the forefront of all that. And Jack Swarbrick, in my view, is the reason the NCAA moved here. He worked so hard on that for months, and then put the bid in, did the presentation. It was fabulous. And we weren't even in the 5 that they were considering, but our bid was so good, they jumped us into it and made it 6 instead of 5, I think.
I can still remember the legislation with the NCAA
exactly, right.
At the State House. It was, the state and the city worked really well together.
Yes.
And that it was quite a time in Indianapolis to help build it.
Yeah, it was fabulous. And there's more to come in the future,
there
even
is.
when we're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in your role with Penske Entertainment, obviously motorsports is kind of key to that. What is it that you do looking forward? What might be on the horizon as far as marketing? Because you've got IndyCar, which is wholly owned. You've got the track. There's a NASCAR race that's here
This weekend.
This weekend, yes.
Right.
Now Fox owns a quarter of Penske Entertainment. I'm curious how all those dovetail in, and then what's the direction moving forward?
Yeah, we've had so much growth in sort of the two big things you mentioned that happened. In 2020, Roger Penske bought the entire company, and then last year, Fox bought a third of the company.
A third, okay.
So those two things have propelled growth, and it's been such fun to be a part of all of it. Obviously, Roger is an incredible leader, strategic, brilliant in all ways with all things, and yet, we'll be walking around here, he'll see a piece of trash on the ground, he'll pick it up. He functions at all levels, and he's just great. It's been a wonderful learning experience working with him, particularly through COVID, right? Because he bought the company January 6th, and COVID happened in March, and everybody knows what happened in that period. But to walk alongside leadership that is firm and steady and clear on what we're going to do in that kind of a crisis in sports and entertainment was really a blessing for me to do that.
I can remember playing the golf course over here, and I talk to everybody, and talking to people that work on the golf course, and how Roger, they all know him, and he knows them. Yeah. And he wanted to fashion that golf course in a different way. I mean, just down to the minutia. Yeah. And that's what we used to call is managed by walking around. Yeah. And he is the supreme king of it.
No detail is too small for him.
Right.
And I just love that about him. So no detail is too small. And then with the Fox investment, they already were our broadcaster for we made that announcement a year earlier. But the investment that they are making in us was a brilliant move by Mark and Jonathan and Gibson and Roger to go with Fox versus the other networks, because they have given us such a platform. Last year with the Super Bowl, there were 3 commercials aired during the Super Bowl that were specifically IndyCar, and we weren't getting that kind of exposure out of other networks. And then this year, what they've been doing with us on the World Cup has just been crazy. Every single World Cup game, including the final game, had lots of IndyCar commercials, lots of IndyCar references. So, as we look ahead, we have dovetailed so tightly with Fox that we are still, building the plan to make all of those opportunities come true. But between the Super Bowl and the World Cup, we're having great results. Our TV numbers are way up. Our fan interest is way up because we have a partner that is prioritizing us.
Well, I just find it fascinating and wonderful for an open wheel geek like me. You've got all the IndyCar Series races on the big Fox, but then you get practice, qualifications will be on FS1. You'll sometimes get practices on FS2, and Indy Next is finally getting televised, which it hadn't been previously. So how did Fox come around to seeing the value?
Well, I think it all goes back to having a CEO that cares about IndyCar. And Eric Shanks he's the CEO of Fox Sports. He grew up in Brazil, Indiana.
I didn't know that.
He did. And he did an internship here at IMS. And
hand glove.
Yeah. And then matter of fact, he has a little trailer over here in this trailer park that he's had since he was in his 20s sometime. He bought it with his college roommates. So Eric understands IndyCar, he loves IndyCar, and he was waiting for the right opportunity over the years. And we knew that Fox was interested in being the broadcast partner ever since I worked here. We knew that. But it didn't get to a serious point till this last round of contracts was up. And we were looking we love NBC. Obviously, I worked for NBC for a long time. So it was a hard departure for me with that, but it was the right decision. NBC's got a lot of sports properties, and we love all of them at NBC, but we weren't sort of the top priority. Lots of other things were. Fox said, if you go with us, we'll make you a top priority, and they have put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, Fox has done a terrific job of covering the 500. There's just no question about it.
Yeah, it's been great.
My brother's going to be so jealous about this interview. And we need to get Doug Bowles to be a guest at some point.
Yes.
So what is next, both for Penske Entertainment and you?
Well, for me, what's next for me? I don't,
A
I'm
busy summer.
busy summer. I'm getting ready to have a second grandchild, which I'm very excited
Congratulations.
about. Thank you, in October. So for me, I'll be here as long as they'll have me. I love working here. I love all my teammates. We couldn't have better people than the people that work here. So I love that. And for Penske Entertainment, we're investing most of our brain power and energy in the series right now. IMS, we worked hard once Roger bought the company to get the 500 where it is today. The events like Brickyard this weekend, IMSA this fall. So with IMS, I would say we're always looking for new opportunities, but we don't have any sort of a strategic shift ahead. It's a good, stable business. We feel like we're Disneyland. People that come here love being here, and we just have to continue to do a great job with the customer experience. And so,
I need to bring my dad and my brother out to the museum.
oh my
Because
gosh,
the museum, we haven't even gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just,
it's fabulous.
yeah, it's so, interactive?
There's all. You haven't been there yet?
I have not been there
Oh
yet.
Oh my gosh, Jim, you
It's
gotta go.
amazing. Joe Hale did an incredible job over there, and the new CEO, Mike Good, is doing a fantastic job. It is a gem in Indiana that people will enjoy for the next 50 years. It's incredible, and it's hard, and I don't say that very often. It is absolutely incredible.
Mark Janes, we had him on as a guest once, and he just raved about it.
Yeah.
And he's I think a friend of the show. We've only had him on once, but he's just he's really a great leader and a great representative of IMS. No question about it.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
Yeah.
So the museum, our goal, continue to attract people to this place as a global destination. Now that we've got the redone museum, come to an event, come to the museum, make this a bucket list location for you. So, and I feel like you never sit back and say, okay, we did our job, because you have to keep delivering, but that's where we are. So our time and most of our brain power right now is going into the IndyCar series and how we're going to continue to level that up and make sure that globally it's a respected sports franchise.
I would think you're doing a great job, and you're almost there already.
Yeah, we're getting there.
And even around here, just the fact that the town of Speedway has really developed.
Yes.
This does make it a desdestination where there's things to do, and you can see the track, but you can
People
also
live here,
explore.
For the Indy 500, when you look at the customer data, 20% of the people that come to the Indy 500 are race fans, and 80% are bucket list epic event
Tourists. Yeah.
people. And so you really only can count on that 20%. The 80% are the people that are driving that, and you have to be able to give them a great experience to come back.
Yeah. Well, I've got a group of 10 that goes to the race every year, and I would say 4 of us are big race fans. The other 6 are there for the 2 hours prior to the green flag. And then they're like, well, when's that race going to be over?
Yeah, but they still have a good time while they're here.
Oh, they have
in
a
that
blast.
window.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And we're not talking about the balloon launch anymore.
We're not, finally. Yeah,
luckily.
we're glad we got over that.
Yeah, very much so.
We added
was
that
always a
second
controversy.
flyover as the substitute, and that's been working. People like that.
Well, you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Allison Melangton has been our guest on episode number 77 of
Yes.
Merritt in the Morning.
We could come here every week.
We could.
Yeah,
Oh my
come on
gosh,
out.
Allison, you free every Thursday morning? We'll just come back.
The Allison Show.
Yeah, we'll put your name on the title and everything. So, want to thank Stockyards Bank and Trust. Locations.
Get that smart toaster.
You get that smart toaster all over. The locations everywhere, Jim. They just bought a bank out of like Owensboro, so now they're in
thank
Evansville too.
Thank you, Paul Moan, for your
Yes.
long-standing 77.
Ooh, Paul Lamone, also an Indiana 250 honoree,
yeah,
along
right.
with you, Allison. I forgot to even mention
congratulations.
that.
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Paul Lamone's our connection to Stockyards Bank. Also, want to thank the Honey Baked Ham Company. Locations, Greyhound Pass in Carmel, right in front of the Menards. If you're in the Menards parking lot, look out.
Yep.
You'll see them. They also have a location at 96 in Michigan, which is Jim's home location. So
They
check.
know me in there.
They do.
I walk in, they say, classic?
Yeah. So check them out. Lunch, dinner, catering. They will take care of all your needs. Thank you very much for watching.
1,